think everything's good. Everything's sorted out. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. What have we got? Okay. Okay. We've got a good mix of academic and general. That looks, just let me mute myself here. Okay, cool. That's fine. All right. There I am on YouTube. One person's watching. Fantastic. I love that. Okay, so what have we got in the chat here? So a bit of a mix of academic and general, as you would expect. I would say it's about 50-50. Yes, Samsung Galaxy, you can ask me a question. Just pop it into the chat. That's not a problem. All right, now, just before we begin, some of you are going to have difficulty viewing my screen on your computer for some crazy unknown intergalactic reasons. So what I'm going to do is into the chat, I'm going to paste a YouTube link. Those of you in the Zoom webinar may have to watch this on YouTube Live just so it formats properly, or else it's going to be very confusing. Cool, I think that's it. Okay, just quickly, someone has a question about choosing between the IELTS and the PTE. Here's the simple answer to that question. IELTS is more difficult for writing. PTE is more difficult for speaking. If you're a better writer, then you should take the IELTS. If you're a better speaker, then you should take the PTE. Or you can think about it the other way and go, if you're a worse writer, you should take the PTE. If you're a worse speaker, you should take the IELTS. That seems to be what happens. People fail IELTS writing, people fail PTE speaking. That's sort of the general trend here. All right. All right, let's get started. Let's get started. Why is that not working? That's not working because I haven't plugged it in. Hold on. I knew something was wrong. All right, now we should be good to go. Let's try that now. Yeah, technologies, rock and roll. Here we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Jay. I'm one of the expert IELTS teachers here at E2language.com, which, by the way, if you need help with your IELTS, go and sign up for free. It will certainly help you out. There's lots of free practice material and methods lessons and overview lessons and everything you need. And if you want to upgrade, you can also do that too, to get tutorials and whatnot. In this class, we're going to look at the discuss the problems and the solutions essay, which you may get on test day. In fact, there are a variety of different question essay types, I should say. There's the problem solution, there's the double question, there's the agree disagree, there's the discuss both views, and then there's the one that also asks you to give your opinion. There's the advantages, disadvantages, and then there's the advantages, disadvantages plus opinion. So in fact, there are 7 IELTS essay types. You may get one of these on test day. You will not know which one. That's going to be a problem. It's good to practice them all. In this class, we're going to look at problems, solutions, okay? Essay structure. This is what it's all about. This is what you need to bring with you into the exam, not smuggled in your pocket, but smuggled in your brain as a kind of framework, reference, guide, structure, template, right? This is what you ought to practice before test day. If you have the structure, it would just make it so much easier to write this essay above 250 words in under 40 minutes. Without a structure, you're going to go in there sort of thinking, uh-oh, how do I do this task? Okay, so let me show you just the generic essay structure. This is the E2 language structure. It's going to have an introduction, of course. It's going to have 2 paragraphs and a conclusion. We're going to learn how to write this sentence by sentence. Don't freak out. It looks complicated. I'm going to make it easy for you. And this is the specific problem solutions essay structure, which I'm going to take you through now. So our essay on test day is going to look like this. And I have written 295 words here, but you can see distinctly the 4 paragraphs, which I'll show you. Just on word count, it's extremely important that you do write above 250 words. And I can tell you from experience that it is very possible to not write to the word count, okay? In the IELTS, they give you 1 sheet of paper to do your writing task 2. For me, if I fill both sides of the sheet, it's about 180 words. So I'm well below the word count. In the IELTS exam, I needed to put up my hand, ask for a second piece of paper for writing task 2, so I could get to those 250 words. 23% of candidates, in fact, lose marks because they don't write 250 words. Let's just have a quick little look at what that means in terms of paragraphs. So if your intro is 40, paragraphs are 70, and your conclusion's 40, you're going to write about 220. What was an IELTS 8 will decrease down to like an IELTS 7, or what was a 7.5 will go down to a 6, for example, a 6.5. It's critical that you write 50, 80, 80, 50, for example, and get to around 200, at least above 250. Tonight's question prompt is this. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to read it. All right, let me read it. It says, medical professionals such as doctors and nurses from poorer countries often migrate to richer countries to work. What problems arise from this situation? What measures can be taken to deal with it? Okay, so we know that we're dealing with the problem solution essay because of this little prompty thing here, the question. First of all, it's got the word problems there. It's got the word measures here. Sometimes it uses the word solutions explicitly. Sometimes it uses the word measures. Sometimes it uses different ways to say it, but you can see there are 2 distinct questions there, and basically you're dealing with problem solutions, okay? There's a certain structure, we're going to learn how to do it. But first, we need to analyze and plan. Analyze and plan. All right, you can see from the question prompt, the background information. We're going to use that in our essay, and then there's the prompt. Just note before we begin that it says problems and measures. It does not say what is the problem, singular. It says what are the problems, more than one. It's critical to get this right because our paragraphs must contain, or our essay must contain more than one problem. It's going to be problematic if you write 1, for example, and also more than one solution. Yes, let's begin. Let's write the introduction. Okay. The introduction at the top of your screen, you can see there are 3 sentences. We want to write a general statement. We want to rewrite the question in our own words. Then in our 3rd sentence, we want to write, this essay will discuss the problems and solutions, or something like that. Let me take you through mine. A general statement. Mine says this: economic migration is not uncommon among medical professionals. It's just a general background statement about the prompt. Economic migration is not uncommon among medical professionals. Sentence 2, I'm going to rewrite the question in my own words. So you can see the question prompt here. I'm going to rewrite this in my own words. It says, doctors and nurses often leave their home countries in order to find more lucrative jobs abroad. Various problems arise from such migration patterns. I've in fact written 2 sentences, and that's fine. You can always bend the rules of this structure here. But effectively, what I've done is I've taken this: medical professionals such as doctors and nurses from poorer countries often migrate to richer countries to work. I've rewritten that into my own words, okay? So I'm right on topic. Cool. 3rd sentence. This essay will discuss what those problems are, as well as measures that can be taken to ensure the home country is not left without medical professionals. I want you to now write the introduction. You're going to have 3 minutes to follow that same structure. Your time starts now, and I recommend that you do this on a piece of paper, by the way, not typing, because it's a very different experience. All right, that's the crazy little chime to let me know. Okay, I'm seeing some good introductions pop up here on YouTube Live. That's fabulous. By the way, a couple of things. First of all, we're going to write this entire essay in 25 minutes. In the exam, of course, you get 40 minutes. But we're going to do it quickly. I should also say that, yeah, writing with a pencil on test day is a whole new ball game. So if you can get a notepad and a pencil and try this. What I'll also say is if you're on YouTube, you're watching this, click the subscribe button. So every time I do a live class, you'll get immediate access on your phone. You'll be notified so you can join the live classes. So click that subscribe button, YouTube people. Good stuff. You've written your introduction. Well done. That's 1/4. Oh, there you go. You can also sign up for free at e2language.com if you need help. Let's write paragraph 1. This is a little bit complex. This paragraph here, by the way, is what we call a double idea paragraph here at E2. It's a double idea paragraph because remember it asks for the problems. So it's a double idea paragraph. It has 6 sentences. We have single idea paragraphs and double idea paragraphs depending on the prompt. But you can see the 6 sentences. You have a topic sentence that introduces that it's going to be a paragraph about problems. You state problem 1, you give evidence. You state problem 2, you give evidence, and then you write a concluding sentence. It's pretty straightforward. Let me take you through mine. So, topic sentence about problems. There are various issues associated with the migration of medical professionals to other countries. Okay, there are various issues. State problem 1. Firstly, the home country is left without the level of medical expertise it once had. Okay, give me some evidence for that. What do you mean? Give me some evidence. In Iraq, for example, there are a shortage of trained expert doctors who have left their country in order to find work in other more opulent countries. Fine. What about a second problem? Secondly, when the expert leaves the country, there is no one to train the student doctors who could replace them. What do you mean by that? What's some evidence? Well, expertise, for instance, is something that is taught. It requires experts to transmit nuanced information. Okay, wrap this paragraph up for me. In short, a lack of medical knowledge in a country can be damaging to that country's society. Cool, fine. You can see what I've done there. I've gone through. Now, these are the problems that I came up with. You might have completely different problems. That's not really the issue here. As long as you're writing on task, it doesn't really matter what problems you come up with. Okay, there are lots of different problems associated with this, this issue of economic migration for doctors. So whatever. What you do need to do, I think, is have a little think before you start writing. You can certainly write the introduction without thinking. That's just, general background statement, rewrite the prompt, this essay will, okay? When you get up to this stage here though, you're gonna need two distinct problems. You don't wanna write, firstly, there's the problem of a lack of medical knowledge. Secondly, there's also a problem of a lack of medical knowledge. You don't wanna write the same idea twice. It's good to have two distinct ideas. I think you get the point. It's your turn now to write this paragraph. I'm in fact going to give you 10 minutes, maybe a bit less. We'll see how we go. Stick around. Do write this paragraph because there's only one way to learn it, and that's by doing it. All right, that's probably enough time. That's about 8 minutes, I think. Just let me check on the chat here. Yeah, nice. People have put in some very lovely looking paragraphs. You can see what happens when you use a structure like this. All of a sudden, the complicated, complex IELTS essay becomes manageable and doable. Not only manageable and doable, you start to think, ooh, I can improve this. I can actually write a really well-structured essay. And I've got to tell you, structure is just massively important. Grammar is one thing, vocabulary choice, of course, but if you just have a good structure, remember that the IELTS examiners look at your essay for very little time. So if they just sort of glance at it and they see a good structure, they see some of these words, just let me give you a little look at the some words to use here. Okay, let's say, so here, sentence 2 and 3 is about problem 1, okay? Then you've got sentences 4 and 5, which is problem 2. You need to put a little divider in here. You can say firstly, problem 1, and then you can say secondly, problem 2. That's possible. Or you can say in addition, in between. So after you give the evidence for the third sentence, you can then say, in addition to those problems, blah, 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 blah. It just organizes your writing nicely. It's a clever thing to do. All right, let's move on and write paragraph 2, which, by the way, will use the same structure, but this time we're going to write about the solutions to the problems. Let me take you through mine. I'll just do it quickly, okay? So, sentence 1, topic sentence, solutions. My sentence says this, but yours can say anything similar. While the problems may seem intractable, there are solutions available. Okay, I'm just introducing the paragraph saying, listen, there are some problems, but we've got solutions to these. There are some solutions. State this first solution. The first solution is to limit the number of medical practitioners who can migrate to, migrate from, sorry. That's my mistake. I've accidentally left that preposition in there. Just forget that one. You emigrate to and you migrate from. That's my solution 1. It's not a great one. Here's the thing. On test day, you're under immense pressure. You're sitting there with a whole lot of other people in this sort of tiny table with a pencil and a bit of paper, and you just get this question prompt in front of you and you do not know what it's going to be. And you open that page and you just have to think, right? You really have to think on your feet. So some of the ideas that you come up with are not going to be great. Like my one here, it's not great. If I had time to think about this, I wouldn't have written that. But you know what? On test day, you just have to make decisions in the moment and just write the first thing that comes to your mind. So anyway, let me read you mine again. The first solution is to limit the number of medical practitioners who can migrate from certain countries. I think that's a stupid idea, but anyway, let's just go with it. Now I need some evidence. This would force them to stay in their countries to practice medicine. This may not be ideal, however. Yeah, it doesn't sound ideal. Anyway, it's still well written and well structured, and that's good, and it's still on task. That's fine. They don't grade you on how good your ideas are. They grade you on how on topic your ideas are. But now I need a second solution. So I've said the first solution, and now I write another option would be to create associations between countries with high rates of migration. Now I need some evidence. If, for example, an Iraqi doctor entered Australia, an Australian doctor would have to work in Iraq to fill the gap. Again, is this a great idea? Not really, but it's on topic, so that's fine. Let's conclude this paragraph. A proposed limitation on migration and a potential swapping arrangement might just solve the problems caused. Cool. Your turn. I'm going to give you another 10 minutes. Please do write this paragraph. It's good to do the solutions as well. I might stop you there. I think that's probably enough time. Just remember again, if you're typing, it's way faster to type than write. Good, nice. That's looking really good. Look, beautiful paragraphs, beautiful paragraphs. There's a little concern there in YouTube Live about my previous video said that you could include a single idea, like a single problem and a single solution. I've spoken to an IELTS examiner about this, about what is optimum, what's the best structure to use, even though it says problems, solutions. He said that IELTS examiners don't tend to care. He himself said that whether it contains a single idea or a double idea, I think it's just better to be safe than sorry. And it's better to make sure you follow that question prompt exactly as it asks you to. Okay. That's just the critical take home thing is make sure you read that question prompt. If it asks you to what extent do you agree or disagree, say to what extent do you agree or disagree. If it asks you what are the advantages and disadvantages, give the advantages and disadvantages. It's, you know, it's complicated, but just read the instructions. If all else fails, read the instructions as they say. Just a little TV commercial here. E2 Language, sign up for free. Type in www.e2language.com. Join the live classes. Actually, sign up for free if you need help. Yes, we can certainly help you out. If you want to upgrade your account, we do feedback on your writing. We do tutorials for writing and speaking and reading. You can also join all of the live classes, which happen every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Cool. Let's write the conclusion. The conclusion will have just 2 sentences. Of course, again, I said this is flexible. You may write more, that's okay. But you want to use this structure here. First sentence is, this essay discussed the problems and the solutions. Then you want to write a general statement. So let's go through mine quickly. This essay discussed the problems associated with medical professionals seeking higher paying jobs in wealthier nations. Okay, I didn't mention the solutions in that. Discuss the problems, but in this second section I do. While the issues are evidently clear, there are measures that can be taken to alleviate them. So let me just change this a little bit. Really what I did was I said, this essay discussed the problems associated with blah. And then in my general statement, I talked about the possibility of solution. So maybe my structure's not quite right there, but you get what I've done. Let me just take you back through that one more time so then you're clear. This essay discussed the problems associated with medical professionals seeking higher paying jobs in wealthier nations. While the issues are evidently clear, there are measures that can be taken to alleviate them. Cool, you have 2 minutes to write your spellbinding conclusion. All right. How did you go? We've just written an essay, by the way, in about 23 minutes, which is way quicker than the actual time. But again, the structure helps enormously. Cool. All right. All right. Don't go yet because we need to just think about, I won't get you to do this now, but let's think about about proofreading. I think that's extremely important to do. Remember, you've just paid for this exam. You've just sat there. You've done this intense thing. You just want to make sure that you get it right. You're going to be exhausted. Just put in that last little bit of effort before you go, okay, I'm done. And then the time is finished. That includes proofreading. So common grammar mistakes like subject verb agreement. Do you write doctors migrate or doctors migrates? Plural nouns, doctor versus doctors. Think about your verb tenses. Articles, are you talking about a doctor, an doctor, the doctor, or just doctors? Get that right. Just little things. Grammar's important. Vocabulary, you need to be precise. Only use words that you're confident are correct and accurate and precise. Don't use crazy words because you believe they sound good, but you're not quite sure. You're better to be precise than imprecise, that's for sure. Be precise with a simple word rather than imprecise with a crazy word. You need to avoid repetition as much as possible. So, for example, rich, words like wealthy, rich, prosperous, advanced. Advanced is slightly different, but you could use it in context. So you want to use synonyms. Try to avoid repeating the same word. Like a word like country, I don't know, nations, places, countries, I don't know. Sometimes it's tough to find a synonym. Make sure that synonym's precise. Check your spelling. Structure, follow this structure. Punctuation, capital letters and commas. Length. Did you write more than 250 words? If you didn't, you've automatically lost an entire band score. Okay? So let's just recap what we've learned by not looking at that because that's the advantages. Disadvantages, one from last week. That'll do. Sign up for free. Join the live classes. If you have any questions, I'll hang around and answer them. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. All right, any questions for me? Could we include questions in the introduction, asks Eric. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a well-placed question is good. Yeah, for example, you could say something like, economic migration amongst medical professionals is becoming problematic. To what extent is this problematic? Question mark. This essay will explore or discuss the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can. Batuhan says, what do you suggest for the 1 month preparation? I suggest you've got enough time to select any package from E2 language. Yeah, you've got enough time to get feedback. You've got enough time to do tutorials. You've got enough time to join the live classes. I think any of our packages would be suitable. What about proverbs? Can we include it? No, don't include proverbs. This is an academic essay. You don't want to talk about, the leopard losing its spots, whatever. No. They mention idioms, but they're more academic idioms. It's more like idiomatic language for essay writing. So words like is based on, or for instance, or according to, or, notwithstanding. These are academic terms that you want to use. Don't put proverbs in there. Is there any package only to validate the writing part? No, but you can solely focus on writing if you want in your tutorials in the live classes. It's up to you. What are relative clauses? Asks Hina. How long have you got, Hina? No, the simple answer there is, and it's a good question, you want to write some simple sentences like subject, verb, object. You want to write some complex sentences that are like subject, verb, object, comma, which verb, object, for example. That's a relative clause. So in other words, some simple straight sentences and some more complex ones, mix them up, okay? Okay, whoever, Cure Hitet, please send a message through help.e2language.com. Any questions you have, help anybody, by the way, help.e2language.com. May have got lost in our Facebook madness, which can happen. All right, let's go to YouTube Live and answer a few questions here. Dr. Vet, Jay, you already told us to write about each problem in one separate paragraph. Are you changing your structure because it was incorrect? No, as I said before, I spoke to an IELTS examiner. Both ways are fine. In fact, you can write single paragraphs, but this is better. He didn't say that. He actually said that both are fine. I think it's safer to follow the instructions exactly. So that's my answer there. Jay, could you make the first paragraph to have one problem and its solutions, and then move to the second paragraph and do the same thing? Yeah, you could, I guess. That's interesting. You could say, one of the problems with economic migration amongst medical professionals is that there is a lack of care for those in the country. A solution to this would be to employ people from other countries to serve. You could. Might just get a little bit. Yeah, it could be good, actually. That's interesting. I'll check it out. I'll think about it. You should maybe become an English teacher. uh, okay, this is a sort of interesting question. Is it safe to slash sentences, words, when you've got errors instead of erasing them? I use my eraser. Use your eraser. You can just slash it. Jay, when is the next live class? Tomorrow. And the day after. Tomorrow's reading, I think. Friday's listening. So every day, in fact, with E2 language for the paid members. When can we send out essay for evaluation? I need your help. Again, it's part of the package there. Interesting question. Ruchi, is it mandatory to write this essay we'll discuss in the introduction or conclusion? It's not. It's not mandatory. There are many ways to skin a cat, as they say. But I think this is a very solid way to do it. It's also just an easy thing to remember. And it helps guide your essay. It helps guide your thinking. All right. DJ, is 1 week a good time for writing? Well, it depends on your current level, Tamir. Totally depends. If we don't make 250 words, can we extend the conclusion at the end of the time? Probably better to do that than to write under 250. Good idea. Jay, the PPP method for speaking worked for Hina. Hina got an 8.5 in speaking using the PPP method. If you're unsure about that, check that out on YouTube. That's a nice strategy. Well done, Hina. That's fabulous. 8.5. Excellent. Jay, what would you suggest for people who stuck on 6.5 in writing? A few different options, actually. It depends how long you've been stuck on 6.5, how many times you've taken this test, whether you've taken preparation before. If you're genuinely stuck, like sometimes we switch people from the IELTS to the PTE, for example. If their speaking scores are excellent, but their writing scores are stuck, sometimes a switch of tests can be helpful. Or sometimes it's just a matter of getting some feedback on your writing and fixing some errors that you've been making. Jay, 2 days ready. What should I study for speaking? Watch the PPP lectures on YouTube and think about getting some tutorial help. Jay, what do we do about spelling American and British within the one paragraph? Okay, with spelling, pick one and stick with it. If you start with American spelling, like you spell color, C-O-L-O-R, stick with that. Use Z's when you write authorization. Yeah. If you use British spelling to start with, stick with that. So stick with one. Zamtube. I studied for 1 day and got 8 band. That's good. I want to increase my writing to 8 from 7. Signing up for which package will help? Daniel Tan. Daniel, I had a look at your paragraphs. You're actually quite a good writer. The IELTS is definitely tough. I don't know. It's up to you. You could have a look at the silver package, might be appropriate. I think a couple of tutorials, 45 minutes one-on-one with the teacher might do the trick. What should your maximum word count be? Well, doesn't matter about maximum, as long as you make the minimum, which is 250. I think that's all. All right. Cool. Thanks for coming along. Hope it was helpful. Practice is good, and E2 language is good too. Peace, guys. See you soon.